Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ask Me Anything about pitchIN Secondary Trading Market. I am Aisha from pitchIN Academy, and thank you for joining us tonight. If this is your first time tuning into our session, pitchIN is Malaysia Digital Fundraising and Investment Hub and a registered market operator (RMO) with the Securities Commissions of Malaysia. So, in this session, we have our co-founder, Kashminder Singh, and also our CTO, Stephen Wong, to share more about the pitchIN secondary trading market. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A section on Zoom, and we will answer after the sharing session. Hi, Cash and Stephen. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you very much. And welcome to the session, our AMA. We are happy to have you here. We thought we'll have one in the evening so that those people who would like to may not be able to join us during working hours can also join us in the evening. At the same time, I think there's also another one next week, right? So there are two sessions. So yeah, welcome again, and allow me to introduce my fellow panelist, Stephen. Stephen Wong is our Chief Technology Officer, our CTO. So he's here basically to answer any questions that may come up with regards to technology and the platform. But otherwise, I will be going through the PSTX, telling you what the secondary market is like. So what I plan to do is just in a few words give you some description of what PSTX is all about, and then we will just take you through the live website just to show you a few things and help you to understand. And then I think we'll come to what I think is the most important portion of the event, which is the answering of questions. Because I'm sure you have a lot of questions that you may want to ask about PSTX, what it's all about and all that, and we are actually happy to answer them. Now, let me start first by telling you what PSTX is not. Right? So PSTX is not another Bursa Malaysia. Right? So it's not an exchange. On a approved exchange in Malaysia, then they have public listed companies, and these companies go through a whole process before, and they have to reach certain sizes before they can get listed. So PSTX is not Bursa Malaysia. Right? So what is it? It is actually a secondary market for unlisted companies that have raised money on pitchIN. Right? So it's basically a place to add, it's actually a platform to add a bit of liquidity to the equity crowdfunding market. And we are happy to be the first platform in Malaysia approved by the Securities Commission to launch. So we went through quite a detailed process to get approval from Securities Commission to launch our platform. It's taken us quite a bit. We've built the technology, and then we've also shown SC what the site is like and what our aims and all that, and then we have received approval. So yes, it's a secondary market. So unlike Bursa Malaysia, we do not expect that there will be, it's not like the kind of place where you can buy your shares at 10 a.m. and even at 10:25 a.m. you can sell your shares. So it's not that, right? So it's not really a place for you to actively trade or speculate in shares and all that. So that's all we're leaving to Bursa Malaysia. What we really want to do is to add liquidity. So maybe there are some people who are invested in those companies, and some of them may be ready to exit, or they may have reasons to exit. So then this will be an avenue to put up their shares for sale. Similarly, there will be people who would have seen the growth of some of these companies and would have seen that these companies have actually grown big. They're excited about these companies and they might like to purchase their shares, but they missed out on the ECF campaign. Or the ECF campaign was held a few years ago, and at that time, maybe they have not even heard of the company, and they want to buy shares of this company. So this will be a place for those people to actually grab those shares. So that's what we actually entail the secondary market to be, another option that adds liquidity. Now, is there necessity for it? Yes, there is, because over the years, in fact, I think in the last 2 years or so, pitchIN has already facilitated secondary transactions. So we didn't have a market, But then there were people who wanted to buy some shares, they made offer, or some people wanted to sell, and there were ready buyers. And actually, we have already transacted a significant amount in 7 figures worth of shares for various companies. So we knew that there will be a avenue for people, or rather, there's a need for a platform for people to sell their shares. So that's why we set it up. And so when we set it up, our aim was obviously not similar to, say, a stock market. So one of the things that we did was that we knew that there won't be that many people buying and that many people selling. So what we decided to do was to compress all the trading into 2 days. So PSTX will only open on Wednesday and Thursdays for trading between 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Wednesday and the same day, same time for Thursdays. These will be the 2 days that you will open, and you will open every week on those 2 days, unless either one of those days or both those days are public holidays. At which point on that day there will be no trading. And of course, if you were to look at it, you will and if you're going to the website, you'll know that orders can be entered from Tuesday or 10 a.m. onwards, and they can be entered, changed. You can cancel your order before it is closed. You can put in a new order if you want to change your price or quantity. You can actually cancel an order, put it as long as it's not matched. If the order gets matched, then it's done, right? So that's what we have done. So 2 days a week, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And how do you trade? So first thing is that you need to have, if you want to sell, you obviously need to be the shareholder of one of the companies that are listed, right? Then you have shares and you may want to put them up for sale. For those of you who wish to buy those companies' shares, the market will operate on a cash upfront basis. That means your funds will have to be put into your account before you can trade. And so no trading on margins, no trading on no. Those of you who are familiar with Bursa Malaysia may know that in some stockbrokers will give you T+1, T+2, so you have 2 days to pay and all that. We don't have all that. Our secondary market will operate on a cash upfront basis. So if, for example, you wish to trade 10,000 ringgit worth of shares, you want to buy, you think this particular company shares, and you think I probably can get about 10,000 ringgit worth of shares, then you need to send 10,000 ringgit to the trading account that you have. Right? So what you need to do, and the same if you're a shareholder, even the shareholder, if you wish to trade or buy or sell, you need to go to our pitchIN website, go to your account after you're logged in, verify any details that may be necessary. In case you haven't logged for some time, our system may ask you for additional details, after which you can activate your PSTX account. And after you activate your PSTX account, if you wish to top up funds into your account, then you can go through the process, which I will show you afterwards. But essentially, once you have that money, then you will be able to trade up to that amount of money. And as much as possible, since most of the trades will take place within our nominee structure, what happens is that our settlement, our matching is instantaneous. So if you were to buy, say, X company worth of shares and you put up your price as 10 ringgit and somebody else decide to buy them at 10 ringgit, so you can actually match the seller and buyer both selling at 10, and somebody will buy at 10, they'll put an order for 10. If there's a seller for 10 on the board, they'll get the shares. And what happens at that point is that your shares, the seller shares will be taken out of their portfolio, their digital registers, and put into the portfolio of the new buyer, whereas the seller then will have the money credited to the account. And so that's how it will work. So you'll see your money in the account. And if you wish to withdraw your money, then what you need to do is to, just like any other place where money sits in the wallets, money sits in accounts, money sits in particular platforms, you need to make a withdrawal request. And we will aim to, as long as you put in your withdrawal request up to 3 p.m., I think, on that day, we will process it on that day. And hopefully, because the funds are not held by us, SC guidelines require that the funds be held by a trustee. we are using Universal Trustee, and Universal Trustee bank bank account is operated by Universal Trustee. So we will have to send instruction to Universal Trustee to say, hey, our client XYZ has requested a withdrawal of 5,000, kindly send 5,000 to him. And I think within 2 or 3 days, you should get your funds, right? Although we have up to 5 days because we don't know how long banks will take or and all that, but I think you should get your funds quite fast. So, have I missed anything, Stephen?
No, that's all good.
That's all good, huh? Okay. So then coming on back again to the platform, let me go into what the website looks like so that you can have a better understanding, and then we can probably take some questions and answers from you all. Just give me a minute while I share my screen. Okay, I guess you can probably see my screen now. So this is the second, this is our main page right now. And so if you go to pitchIN now, you will see this is actually our main page, which includes shares, ECR campaigns that are running now. We have also tokenized campaigns coming up soon. You know that we have the IEO license. We are calling it token crowdfunding. So there's Bid Now, which is our first campaign. It will be going live soon, right? But we have also added in the pitchIN secondary trading market. So it is now there, waiting to start trading. So what you do is after you're logged in, as you can see here, I'm logged in, you can go to trade and it will take you to the secondary trading market. Right, so this is the main page of the secondary trading market, PSTX. So PSTX right now, I'm sure many of you know, we are listing 10 companies for a start. Right, so why 10 companies? Because we too want to take a learning approach. We want to list companies progressively. We want to make sure that the platform is what we expect for it to function. We are at the same time, even our issuers, I think there's a lot of them that will need a lot of educational and awareness on how the secondary market works. So we've selected 10 companies who have agreed to become the first 10 to be hosted on pitchIN. Right, so we have companies from New Vending, Collier and Rice, Commerce Asia, and all companies all the way down to Speed Home, Signature Market, and Silent Mode. So these 10 companies are representative of them. Many of them are brand names that you probably know. So we're quite excited to have them on our platform, right? So how it works is, showing you on this page, you will see that some companies, and we're calling them counters, so some companies have one counter available for trading. So New Vending has picked NUTCH. New Tech has their company counter code. Right? So that's the trading code for New Vending, New Tech. Then you will see a dash OS. So the dash and the later words actually represent the type of shares being traded. For New Vending, they issued ordinary shares when they did the Equity Crowdfunding campaign. So the shares that are going to be traded are their ordinary shares. The same for Collier and Rice. But if you come to Commerce.Asia, you will see that there are two counters. Now, the reason for that is in their first round, Commerce.Asia issued ordinary shares. And they have their trading code CAV, so CAV-OS. But Commerce.Asia, in their second equity crowdfunding round, actually issued a different class of shares. They issued preference shares, ICPS, irredeemable convertible preference share. So they have a separate trading code because these are two different classes of shares. But because they're essentially the same right, they then have the same price for now, right? So then we go on and then you will see like Speed Home actually issued three classes of shares, ICPS B and A. They are both ICPS, but slightly different terms, right? So then they have three, and then the rest. So this is what you will see here. Of course, there's no trade, there's no change in price, but you will see an indicative price. So what is this indicative price? Maybe I'll take you to one of the companies. Let's say we go to Commerce.Asia. So if you click on Commerce.Asia, you will be taken to the company's secondary market page. So what happens here is you will see that this is Government of Asia, this is their tagline, and then you will see various tabs, which I'll take you to one or two of them shortly. But before that, you will see their last traded price, which is now nothing because they have not traded yet. But you will see an indicative price of 22 ringgit 69. So how did we come up with this indicative price? We have various ways to determine it, but this is the price that appears to be indicative of what the share is worth now, right? So that's why we have set it now. How do we do it? We actually, if you were to come under the word indicative share price, there's a pop-up that will tell you it can be based on either one of the following: ECF share price, company valuation report, major secondary trade, or subsequent funding rounds. So in the case of Commerce of Asia, if you click here on the valuation basis, you will see that the valuation basis is based on their latest ECF campaign. So they ran two ECF campaigns. The latest one, which is essentially the last one that they did, there's no other fundraising after that, was done at the price of 22 ringgit 69 cents. So it's a very average kind of price. So that's the kind of price that we have set it. Some companies, because Oxwhite, for example, they did their ECF campaign in 2020. Today is nearly over 4 years after the campaign. So the company has grown a lot. They are no longer the same company they were 4 years ago, but they have not done any other funding rounds. So how did we come up with theirs is based on a valuation report commissioned by them. They had a financial corporate person or company to do a valuation report, and then the valuation report gave the indicative share price, and we have used that. And the valuation report is also available for you all to see on Oxwhite's page, for example, right? So here you will see, before that, let me just show. So you'll see a business overview of the company. This is the actual company's name, the address, and then you will see here, you will see their order book. When the trading opens, all buys and sells will be listed here. The orders that are not matched, you will see them listed on this section, along with how many shares buy and how many shares sell, right? So you'll see them listed here. If there are any announcements, you will see them here, or they will actually lead you to this page, right? So it shows here that trading commences 10 July for these two counters. So these two counters will start trading on the 10th of July, right? Golok, which is one of the one of the companies that will be listed, their shares will not start trading on the 10th of July because they have informed us that they are in the midst of a fundraising exercise. They are in serious discussion on a fundraising exercise, and because of that, their valuation is likely to change. So to be fair to everybody, we will pause trading until we have further details on their new share price, and you may want to digest the fact that they have raised probably money at a higher price. So to make sure that all investors have the same information, Golok shares on next Wednesday will not start trading until we have more details of their fundraising campaign. And so you will see all of this here. And then if you were to, of course, your buy orders are your orders and your recent trades. But if you go to announcements, you'll see the same announcement that was made here. So this page will actually list all the announcements made relevant to the company or relevant to PSTX. For example, it could be that the company has just issued another report. We will put here and then tell you where you can get the report. Or its audited accounts may be released. Or the PSTX may announce that next day the shares may not be traded. And so we may not, there may be on occasions that we may pause the trading of a particular share. The reason being normally would be if they have a material announcement to make, then we will let them make the announcement first, put up the announcement, give participants some time to digest the announcement before we open up trading. So we may announce a day's pause, for example, on a trading of shares. So all those kind of announcements will be here. So if you come to company profile, then you will read about the company and their fundraising history on pitchIN. Right, so you can see here that they actually did 2 rounds, one in 2018 and one in 2022. And then you can see their amount of money that they raised. And the last one is financials and documents. So you come to financial documents, you will actually see we do have a tables that we hope to keep adding 26, but we're showing the last 2 years of their financials. And if you want to know more, you can actually go to their issue information document. So if you go further down, you will see in the start of trading, we have something called the issuer information document, this one, which I'll open shortly. But before that, we also place as many documents as we have in the last 2 years on this company. So you can read their business updates or their full year report, as well as anything else. Audited financial statement is here. But if you want to know more about the company, the issuer information is the one that will give you more details. So I'm opening it now. And this is a document that is there for all companies that who are going to be listed. So in the document, you will see here the name of the company, their funding rounds, the 2 types of shares available, the directors of the company, the share capitals, the paid-up capital, as well as how the paid-up capital, the number of ordinary shares and preference shares and all that. You can read their business overview again. There's some growth strategies if they are put up will also be here, as well as, again, the financial overview and the list of documents here. Right, so we have this document there that you can always refer to if you wish to know a bit more about the company. Right, so going back again to the platform, you yourself should be here. You should go and open your PSTX account. Right? If you say activate, you can activate it. I've already activated it. So if you've activated it, then you are ready to start trading. But of course, if you don't have money, then you can't trade if you wish to buy. So what you need to do if you wish to top up, I'll take you through some of the steps. I won't top up actually, but I'll just show you. You'll come to this page. So currently my balance is nothing. Right? So I don't have any balance on hold. Balance on hold can refer to transactions that have closed but may need to be verified. So it's hold for a while, then we will release that. Right? And the account balance. Right? And you can either top up, or if you have money, you can actually request a withdrawal, as I mentioned just now. Right? So I've been showing people how it works, and I've been trying to show how top up. So you'll see that I did not proceed with the top up, so they have failed. Right? So I'm going to do a third one now, which will fail also because I'm not going to top up. But here goes. If I want to top up, I just have to say that I want to top up 1,500 ringgit or say 10,000 ringgit. And I just say continue. And there are some options for you to choose. The recommended one is the Do It Now online banking, which is the latest version of FPX actually. Right? So you can use that. It's very seamless, just like FPX. You are taken to the payment gateway or rather the transfer gateway of your bank, and then you can actually do, and it's instantaneously sent to us, and we will know who is sending, and it's very easy for us to keep track of. You can also do, if you have this difficulty doing this, you can do a domestic bank transfer. That means you actually go just like somewhere else, you go open up your bank account app and say, I want to transfer to our trustee. Yeah? So all our PSTX trustee bank account is at UOB. So you have to send to UOB, and the bank account details are here. You can actually do an online transfer, but then you have to come and upload the receipt here. You can also do check deposit, but it's the same thing. I'm not sure whether people still use checks, but if you do, you can use a check, take a photograph of the check, and give us a receipt. For overseas, you can use, we give you the SWIFT payment details on how to send money overseas to our bank account. But most of you will actually be doing here, right? So if I say here, I just have to say continue with payment, right? And then I choose my bank. This B2C is the only choice you have because that's all we have. It's what the Do It Now system works, and then we just select our bank. So let's say my bank is Maybank. I then say pay now. So this process will take, I mean, if I cancel, it's going to take some time, but I then have to enter just like anywhere else you've done online banking, you'll see this very ubiquitous page, right? So this is one of the payment gateways. I just enter my username and my password, and then I can then say proceed, and I'll be able to transfer 10,000 ringgit. Right? But I'm not doing it now, so I cancel it. Cancellation takes some time because that's the payment gateway site. So let's just wait for it to be cancelled. Okay, so I'll cancel. I go to the merchants page now. Back to the merchants page. I'm redirected back to pitchIN, and I have tried to top up, but I didn't. So it just says pending, and then later on it will be cancelled. Right? Otherwise, you can print and save your receipt and all that. So otherwise, if you've gone to pitchIN, you'll know that you have a portfolio, and if you click on it, you'll see the amount of shares that you have, and then also you can manage. Coming soon will be the token crowdfunding. There's a different account, equity crowdfunding, different account, secondary trading market, different account. Right? Even the bank accounts are different. For those of you who have been investing on ECF deals, if you wish to trade, don't send money to our trust account for equity crowdfunding. You need to send money to the trust account set up for secondary market, right? So that's the one with the UOB account and that specific number, right? So this is what your dashboard is. So essentially, I know many of you are probably wondering what else and how do I learn a bit more about the secondary trade market. So what we have done is we have set up help for you, right? So you can go to learn, and then you can go to the learning portal. The learning portal covers a lot of areas. You got ECS, the secondary trading market for investors and for issuers, and then we've got on token crowdfunding. So if you go to the secondary trading market, it will give you all the things that you need to understand. Right? So these are secondary trading market, what is it, why trade, and all that. And then if you go to next, about PSTX counters and all that, it will take you through actual guide and all that, right? So fees, this should be a very common question, so let me cover it now. So we have a fees. So how we work is buyers and sellers are charged slightly different fee, right? So you'll see why. You may ask why, and why is because we want to incentivize buyers to come and trade. So our fees, so we have cost to cover, so our fees actually should be around here, but in fact, even this is promotional. We may at some point raise them later, but now this is our fee. So 1.5% if your trade is 50,000 ringgit and above. When I mean trade, it means the order open on that particular 2-day session until the close. If you don't close an order, right? And if you trade below 50,000 ringgit, is sorry, talking about buyers. So 1% if you trade 50,000 above, 1.25 if you trade below 50,000 for buyers, and 1.75 for sellers, and 1.5 if you trade above 50,000. Right? Minimum is 50 ringgit. So any trade that you do will cost you 50 ringgit fees. So there are some guides here as to what happens if you were to trade, but essentially, summary, if you keep your order open until 5 p.m. on Thursday, whatever shares are sold or for that order, only those will be subject to fees. The rest will not be counted. So we'll just calculate it at the end. Right? So, and there are a lot of other things that you can also read about if you want to understand what our secondary market is.
Also,
Right?
just
So,
to note, sorry, that
yeah, Stephen, go ahead.
yeah, to top up and withdraw, there are no fees. Fees are
Yes.
only for trading.
Yeah, thanks. There are no fees. Thanks, Stephen, for pointing that out. I forgot to mention that. So whenever you send money, whatever reaches us, that's your money. And whenever we send out money, whatever you get, and you know that local banks do not really charge anything, so you get back. If you ask for 5,000, you should get back 5,000 again. So there are no fees for that. Fees are only for trading. Okay, so I think I have covered the main session, what I really wanted to cover for you guys. I'm sure you have questions that you may want to answer. I know that There was also questions sent in by people. So we may also look at that later. But now let me see whether if any question, if you have, you should type your questions in the Q&A. Then we can probably help to answer them. Okay, so we have one question that is open here, which is asking, would you consider to open PSTX in the near future to list the shares of issuers under other ECF platform, not raised via pitchIN? The short answer is, if I can, I will do it tomorrow. The longer answer is, yes, we want to do it, but we have to seek SC's approval and it will take us some time. But right now, only pitchIN funded shares are available for trade on pitchIN. Okay, so it says, is there a limit on the bid and offer prices? We do have some controls in place. We do have some controls. So any swing of above 75% of a share price will stop it at that price, and there's a limit down on the same 75% or so. We may revise that later, right? We may revise that later, but right now there are some limits on the share price because we do not want wild swings or stuff like that. This may be a good time for me to say that we do have various other checks and measures in place. So when we set up the market and when we built our market, we did consult with SC and we have put in place measures to spot things like insider trading or what shall I say, suspicious trading patterns and all that. So we do have some flags that are built in, but at the same time, for your assurance of all of you guys who will be trading, we do have rules that we have communicated to the issuers as well to, for example, the staff of pitchIN on stuff like insider trading and the need to inform and announce any material news that may affect share price. So the issuers have been informed, right? So if there's any news that is material, for example, if the company is planning to and is about to close a funding round that is of higher valuation, then they need to inform us. And we will probably pause trading and announce to the people, the market, and say that XYZ has signed a term sheet, which now values the company at a new higher price. Please take note of this. We give you all some time to digest the news. Probably the next day, we will then reopen the counter for trading. So we do have all those kind of measures and all that. So what will affect the share price up and down, right? Now, we don't know. It is an open market. We leave it to you to set your buy and sell price. But as I said right at the start, we do not expect this to be a very active market. We do advise people holding their shares to be patient because ECF investing is a long-term investment. So we do advise them to be patient and not to rush to sell, because if you try to rush to sell and there are no buyers, the share price will go down and no one benefits, right? Similarly, another question that was asked in another session is, will there be buyers? Again, we don't know. We are obviously doing a lot of marketing. We have sent out a lot of marketing material. We have run a press release. We are running ads. We are doing sessions like this. So we do encourage people to buy shares. And we will know on the day when the market opens how many buyers there are, right? We do hope buyers turn up. But as I said in the start, this is not Bursa Malaysia. So we do hope that it will take some time. We do believe it will take some time for the market to mature. And if you plan to be a seller, be patient. So what will affect the share price up and down, I think, will be ultimately market demand. But it will not, at the end of the day, reflective of the volume of the valuation also. If it goes down slightly, it doesn't mean the whole company's valuation has come down. It only means that somebody wanted to sell maybe for other reasons, but the company's value is intact, right? Okay. Another question to answer is, if RCPS entitled for dividend until mature date, will it transfer to new shareholder? The answer is yes, as long as you're the shareholder on record at the time, on the date when the dividends are announced. they get the dividend, not the whole shareholder, right? So similar to Bursa Malaysia, they always have a cutoff date, at which point it's called X, so the dividend is then X. So same here, if the company has not issued any dividend and you buy the shares and they announce the dividend next month, you get the dividend, the seller does not get, right? That's one question. Next question is, are there any limit of the amount of shares I can buy as a retail investor? Yes, there is a limit. The same limit actually applies for ECF investors. So under ECF guidelines, if you're a retail investor, the guideline set by SC is that retail investors can invest up to 5,000 ringgit per company and a maximum of 50,000 ringgit per year, right? So if you look at that, you will then be able to gauge whether you hold more than 5,000 ringgit worth of a company shares, then you should not buy that company's share, right? If you don't have that company's share, then you can buy up to 5,000 ringgit worth of that company's share if you're a retail investor. Okay, what is the basis for selecting the initial 10 companies for listing? And I will add a question, an extension to that. What is the basis of not selecting the other 160 over companies that raise money on pitchIN? So there are various reasons, right? Now, one of the reasons is that there has been trading interest in these 10 companies. That's one of the reasons. When I mentioned just now that we have done a lot of secondary trades, many of the secondary trades were for some of these companies that are listed here. Secondly, these companies, we believe, have grown. We believe that they are ready, and the founders also would like to have the company shares traded, right? So they are open to it. Not every company right now on pitchIN is ready for trading. And there's various reasons for that. Some of those companies have not met the ECF guidelines. SC as a guideline that a company can only start trading 6 months on the secondary market 6 months after they finish. So if any companies have not finished, who raise money 6 months or less, they cannot even trade. Those companies that raise beyond the 6 months, they could potentially trade, but some of those companies are planning to do some other fundraising, so they want to wait. Some of those companies say that they are not ready, they want to wait and decide on the trading day later. So we have to have the approval of the company before we can list them, right? So I just can't say, hey, Mr. Company X, I'm going to list you for trading, right? Ultimately, the company is the company. I'm just a platform. I need to have approval. So we also believe that the PSTX will take time to grow, right? So what we want to do is we want to start slow and steady. So we said 10 companies, good number to start. And then already I can tell you that, of course, this year is already July, but before the year end, we will have other companies that will be traded. That's what I can say. We don't have an app right now for trading. We are still, it will have to be this a web app or using the website. Unfortunately, that will take us some time. So right now, you will have to rely on a browser. Okay, so is this market follow Bursa security law? Okay, so this is a bit difficult to answer, but I will try my best to see whether I'm answering Mr. Tan's or answer properly. Bursa Malaysia is its own market. It's an exchange. It's a very complex market. Their rule book is in hundreds of pages, and they have a very complex system, and they have very stringent listing rules. Like, for example, if you want to be listed on the main board of Bursa Malaysia, they have various things like the market size, your profit, how many years of profit before you can be listed, and then you have to go through a very complex IPO process, which will cost a lot of money to the company. So these are for huge companies. So we don't follow all of those laws. What we do is we follow our own secondary trading market rules. which has been approved by SE, and our trading market rules, essentially, if you were to go through what I showed you just now, how to learn the secondary trading market, the rules are all there, right? 2 days a week, who can trade? Anybody can trade, but follow the ECF guidelines. Which companies? These are the companies that you have placed, and the company only on pitchIN. And how the trading rules, we leave it to market discovery. So all our rules are there, but we do not follow Bursa Malaysia laws or rules. Will all future companies that are raising funds on ECF be listed on PSTX? We hope so. In fact, for the newer companies, because secondary market only came in the last 1 to 2 years. So for newer companies, we are stressing to them, hey, if you come and raise money on pitchIN, we are telling them that be prepared, that you will also aim to be listed about 6 months or so after you fundraise. So we hope to list progressively more and more companies. Okay, so what's the justification for setting up PSTX? That's the next question. So the justification is we actually follow market demand, right? So a lot of people, we already saw trades happening before we do it. So before this, if somebody wants to buy or sell shares, if the company has got potential buyers, they come to us and they say, hey, I want to sell my shares. We have systems to maybe share with the shareholders of that company, or sometimes we know people who have told us that if this company shares are available, I might like to buy. We will then offer it to them and facilitate the trade, right? We also have people who have come and say, hey, I like company XYZ. I would like to make an offer to buy 300,000 ringgit worth of these shares at this price. And we have facilitated that too. So we can see that there's a demand, right? So because of that, we have set up PSTX. But also, we wanted to add a liquidity option to equity crowdfunding deals, right? Because they are long-term in nature. They take many years to mature. So we thought that if we were to add in an option for those who may not be able to wait that long, and sometimes circumstances change, then we have to have an option where they can put up their shares for sale, and also for those who actually miss the company that they can buy. So that's our justification for setting up PSTX. So we're not the first equity crowdfunding platform in the world to set up a secondary market. There is a platform in UK with a secondary market. There are, I believe, platforms in US that also have secondary market. Does this follow ESG and corporate governance like Bursa? We do our best. We have not set ESG guidelines, but I can share with you that SC is planning to over time ask ECF operators, not just pitchIN, all ECF operators to adopt an ESG framework. So that's coming. Right now we don't, but in terms of corporate governance, as I mentioned just now, leaving aside Bursa, we have our own corporate governance rules. So all companies will be asked to report 2 times a year. They have our audit, we share the audited accounts, and we have told them that if you have any material news, you are to share with us, right? So at the same time, our governance, we have a team, the PSTX team, we have a team that also monitors the market. So if we believe that there is market making news that is being withheld, or we believe that there is share manipulation going on, or if we believe that there are reasons to take action, we can for a while stop trading of a particular counter, and then we can ask the counter to please give us more details. And if you have any details that is material in nature, we will share with everybody. So in that aspect, obviously we do train the companies. In fact, we tell the companies, you all have dreams of going IPO one day. So if you were to come and be on PSTX, you can treat it like a mini training for IPO. So yes, we will have corporate governance levels, maybe not to the level of Bursa Malaysia. Obviously, public listed companies will have a whole department for investor relations, as well as another department that only handles all material announcements and all that. For Bursa Malaysia, we can't do that, right? Okay, so will there be announcement? Okay, so how do you decide which issues are listed? I think you know the answer. We pick 10, then with others coming up, we will announce them on the platform, on social media, and on our website, right? We will ask the founders to also announce soon in the next, by early next week, to announce on their platform also that they are going to open for trading. Now, the question here is some of the ECF is in the form of LLP agreement. Are they able to sell their share? My answer is no, pitchIN. We don't have any LLP agreement except for one company last time, I think. But otherwise, we don't have LLP. All the shares are parked under pitch nominees. And if then pitch nominees, you can sell their shares. So pitchIN does not use LLP structure similar to maybe other platforms. So those platforms, then we will leave them how they want to handle the secondary trades. For us, we are using pitch nominees and Berhad, and yes, they will be able to sell and buy the sell. Next question, will there be advance notice before a company is listed? Yes. This 10, we already given advance notice. Any other company to be listed, at least 2 weeks before they are traded, we will put up announcement. Okay, what's the pro and con situation for those secondary market in UK and etc. that Cash mentioned? Oh, okay. Well, some of the markets are different, right? So some of the markets are different. The one in UK, they do not show the trading board. They only have a website that shows this is the price. If you wish to buy, this is the price, and the same price is if you wish to sell, right? So it's more like a bulletin board, right? Then the one in UK, I haven't had a look at it recently, but what we decided to do is that we feel that if you want to bring actual liquidity, then you have to have an actual OTC kind of market. So that's what we have done, right? So based on that, it's a bit different, but we think ours will have a bit more liquidity options. Now, for those who bought pitchIN shares, because pitchIN itself, we also did a crowdfunding, but we did it on a 1337 lead platform. We are not able to trade pitchIN shares now, right? So go, but give us some time. Just give us some time because we do intend to engage SC on this, but we can't do it, I will say, for the next 3 months at least. We've got to get our market running, then we can go and talk to SC. But right now, we can't trade pitchIN shares. Now, I have some other questions that also I've seen on some in some question and answer that came up. So let me just run through them to see whether anything that I am able to understand. Okay, so would pitchIN be able to indicate the proportion of shareholding for each block of investor that is buying? We will not indicate. I mean, obviously, when you're buying, you won't know. If you're buying 10 shares or 100 shares, you won't know a proportion, but you can always go first to the company information document. And what happens at the company information document is that you can see the questions that are what shall I say, the total number of shares. So then you will be able to do your calculation of the equity. But let me just at this point cover something else so that which is related. We don't expect the pitchIN secondary market, we don't expect PSTX to be a place where there is, like, for example, a takeover of a company. Someone keeps buying all the shares and take over a company. That's not going to happen. We do have measures in place which will prevent controllers of the companies to switch. Right? For example, under ECF guidelines, founders cannot sell their shares for 6 months after the company is listed. So 1 year later, after 6 months, so on July 10, all those 10 companies, none of the founders can list their shares for sale. Only 6 months later, they could possibly list their shares for sale, but if they were to list, our system will flag it and we will consult with them first before any order goes through. So there's always shareholding in place, and you don't want your founders to be selling your shares and moving out, right? So we do have all those checks and balances. So if anything of that nature, large transactions, we expect them to happen offline, where we will announce it to the public if it happens, right? So shareholding, you've got to calculate yourself. Another question would be, is there a market maker? So right now we don't have market makers in place. So that's I would say a possibility for much further time in the horizon. Because if you know, the market makers will also we need to have enough of a bit of a market interest and trading science before we can look into market making. And if you decide to do market making, whichever company or however we want to select market makers, we will also have to go back to SC for approval. So right now, there's no market makers. Another question was on valuation, right? So valuation, again, is the company. And for them, we've asked them that if you use a valuation report, then make sure it's not your own, but done by somebody else, right? So that's how we do valuation. Okay, so let me say, so are we regulated by Bank Negara? Not Bank Negara, but our market is actually recognized and approved by Securities Commission. Okay, so those are the questions that came up to us outside the session, which I have highlighted. Are there any other open questions? We don't have, which means to say that we may have explained very well to you all, or we have made it so confusing you don't have any more questions to answer. So either way, don't worry, you can always message us. Our website has got avenue for you to put in your questions. Send it to us. We will do our best to answer, as well as any other channels that we have. You can always reach out to us. Right? So Stephen, do you have anything to add?
No, nothing to add to that.
Okay, so I'm going to wait another, say, 3 more minutes to see whether any other questions come. If not, we will end this session. So I hope among the group of you here, there are people that will also look to buy companies, right? And actually become the buyers also. Right? So do have a look at that also. So there are 10 companies for you to explore, and we hope to bring others soon too. Okay, let's look at the one question that has come up. Oh no, it's a thanking. Okay, so so we are doing our best. Thank you for saying thanks. We are happy to see what we can do. Since I'm here for just 1 more minute or so while waiting for questions, let me say that today pitchIN is no longer just equity crowdfunding. 10th of July, second product, which is our secondary market. And in the next few weeks, our third product, which is token crowdfunding, will also launch, right? So we call it initial, the SC's license is called initial exchange offering, which is a mouthful and which is quite difficult to explain to people. So what we have decided is pitchIN's branding is token crowdfunding. And so we are going to have token crowdfunding deals coming up soon. The first one we've already announced will be BitNow. And there are at least 2 other deals that are slated to come live in the next few months. So have a look at our token crowdfunding. Our regulations set by SC for token crowdfunding are different from ECF, but they will be equally exciting. So have a look there also. Okay, let's see if there's some questions coming in. No, okay, so one question may be worth answering. Is it open worldwide or just Malaysia? The answer is worldwide, right? So under ECF guidelines, which is what the secondary market operates under, equity crowdfunding deals is open to anybody who all over the world. essentially open to people who can send their money to Malaysia, and we should reach our bank account. So any country obviously under sanctions, for example, countries like North Korea and all that, so they can't trade. So we don't accept any citizen from that country. But all the rest, if any country is part of the international banking system and not under any active sanctions, they can trade. They just have to come, send in their money just like anybody else to the account. They have to do KYC, we have to verify them, we have to know who they are, and then they can trade. Okay, so yeah, thank you for all those warm messages from Richard and the other friends who have actually put up all the messages. We are equally excited about the secondary trading market. We really hope to actually make a meaningful impact on Malaysia, but we will need your support. So the very least you can do is to go around and tell everybody you know that there is now a secondary market in Malaysia and it is available for trading. And if they want to buy, start putting in their money now because it'll take you 1 or 2 days to transfer. With that, I thank my fellow team members and also all the friends who have joined us. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Bye.